All right, so today's video, I'm gonna be doing something a little different. I'm gonna be doing a reaction to a guy named Dave Ramsey. Now, Dave Ramsey, a lot of people know this guy. He's an American financial advisor, very popular guy, and a lot of people listen to him. He also has some words to say about whether or not you should or should not buy a mobile home and his thoughts on that. So I figured I'd go on ahead and take the time to do a reaction video to hear what the financial guru has to say.
Daniel is with us in Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show, Daniel.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, got a what would Dave do question on if I should sell my house.
Okay.
I bought the house before I started listening to you. It's an on-frame modular, which is similar to a double wide, and I owe $46,000 on it. I own the 4 acres that is underneath it, and I'm paying PMI on a 15-year mortgage at 3.75%, and I'm in baby step 456.
What do you owe?
Should I sell the house now?
What do you owe on it?
46.
Okay. And what's your household income?
Right at 60,000.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and pause the video real quick. What he has right here is a caller who's calling in. They are not like us. This is a person just like the typical American who their biggest investment in their entire lives is probably going to be the home that they live in. And this is that kind of person. They're basically what we would like to call an end user, right? They're not like us at all. We're going to be buying and selling homes. This is something totally different, but he also has some choice words to say about mobile homes. So let me go ahead and continue.
Well, there's several grades and points along a spectrum, a line of modular homes, okay?
He's talking about modular homes. When he says that, modular homes are basically the same as mobile homes, as mobile homes usually come in like 1 unit, or they'll come in like 2 units if you got yourself a double wide, or 3 units if you got a triple. But here's the thing about that, right? So modular homes, just like mobile homes, all their pieces are put together in a factory. And once they get to the site to where they're going to be at, they are put together basically like Lego blocks.
There's the super cheap bad trailer in the trailer park on one end, right? And everybody knows what that thing's going to do. It's going to go down in value like a car you sleep in. You know what I'm saying?
Dave got jokes. He's right, but that's going to be relevant later on in the video. I'm going to tell you why.
So here's the thing. My only point about, quote, modular housing or trailers or whatever you want to call them in these different situations is if you can drive up in front of it, if the typical person can drive up in front of it, and they think to themselves, that thing came in on a truck. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If they think that, then it's not going to go up in value as much as a, quote, traditional house. Would you agree with that statement?
I agree with that, and that's probably what my house is.
Okay.
All right, so let me go ahead and pause it right there. So here's the thing, right? Once again, you can hear just a little bit more vitriol like sliding into his voice tones right there when he talks about mobile homes, when he talks about trailers, right? But the thing is this right here. This person right here is looking for their property to increase with time, right? They're looking for their property to increase with time. That's not what this channel is about at all. We're looking to buy mobile homes and then get rid of them as quickly as possible. You can get a mobile home and flip it in like a couple of days, depending on the condition that it's in, or you can get one and flip it in a couple of weeks if you want to put in a little bit of work, if it just needs some work or something like that. The longest I've ever held a mobile home, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, which go really, really fast, I've probably held on to it for probably about 2 weeks. The most mobile homes I've ever flipped in 1 month, and I'm trying to break my record, has been, I've sold 3 in 1 month, and I'm trying to get to that 4 in 1 month kind of thing. But, you know, I'm not tripping about it.
And so I don't know what portion of it came in on a truck or if the whole thing came in on a truck and then we sat it on a fixed foundation or whatever. But if it looks like inside when I'm walking through it and I'm looking at the trim package and I'm looking at the plumbing fixtures and I'm looking at the exterior and the way the thing is shaped and so forth, and I think to myself, this thing came in on a truck, 90% of the time that's not going to go up in value like a traditional home would sitting on the exact same piece of property.
Let me touch on that one more time, right? We're not looking at this thing going up in value years later. We are about getting money.
And if that's the case, then that's not a property I want to hold. as I want to buy real estate that's going to go up in value. So if you had the exact same amount of money invested in another piece of real estate that didn't look like it came in on a truck, it would go up in value more. And so I don't think anything's on fire here, but if that's how your house lands, and you just said it does, then sometime in the next 4 or 5 years, it might be next year, it might be this year, it might be 5 years from now. Sometime in your process, you're going to want to own a different piece of property because you're going to get better appreciation on it. That's my only thing about it.
Nah, I ain't got nothing to say right here. He's going to say something real here in a second. So just listen for this, right?
And that's all we're talking about here. I've got friends that own these huge mobile home manufacturing things, and they're always like, Dave, you don't know what you're talking about, mobile homes. I'm like, you're right, I don't. As far as engineering parts and how nice they are. Because when I was a kid, you know, it's just trailer. It's a trailer. We didn't call it a mobile home. It's like a domestic engineer. It's a housewife, you know. I mean, it's just like janitor, you know. I mean, we have to come up with all these euphemistic names. It's a mobile home. Okay, great. That means it's a house that can leave on a trailer. It's mobile.
So what he's saying right here is basically, I want you to just hear the vitriol that's like seeking into his tone and the way he talks about trailers, right? Now, I told you before this right here was going to benefit you here in the future. So the thing is this, right? When the average person thinks about mobile homes, they tend to think about, you know, hillbillies, beer guts, you know, just every kind of negative stereotype, maybe an episode of Cops or something like that they've seen, and they just equate that with trailers. The cool thing about that is this. I recently had a guy who joined my group, right? And it's growing, it's small but growing, and I really want more of y'all in there. But this guy right here had a background in real estate investing, right? And the thing about him is that he was like, well, so what you need to know first is there's a lot of people out there who are talking about like wholesaling traditional real estate, you know, just a regular house. So the thing about that is that I'm not going to drop any shade on anybody. I mean, they're really good at what they do. And because they are, and they have their ads and stuff out there, people are clicking on it, they're coming in there, they're hearing all the success stories and everything like that. That's cool, that's fine and dandy. But his biggest qualm with that was that even that hustle is becoming saturated. Now, because Dave is right here talking about mobile homes in such a nasty kind of way, right? And he kind of clears it up. But you can hear the disdain in his voice when he talks about this, right? The simple fact of the matter that people have that reaction to mobile homes is what you want. It almost guarantees that you're not going to have a bunch of people out here who are stepping on your toes when it comes down to making a profit. And that's not what we want. Everybody's looking at the big houses. They want to look out in the suburbs and they want to look in these neighborhoods and everything like that. That's fine. There's some treasure out here in the trash, I'll take it. Because when you're talking about getting a mobile home and you're talking about maybe making $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 worth of profit or something off of a mobile home, bro, that's nothing to shake a stick at.
Okay, that tells you something. It is a trailer or it will leave on a flatbed. And so if you're in that business, I'm not mad at you, but the data in the marketplace says the marketplace does not respect your product.
Here's something else I want to elaborate on right here, too. I'm just going to pause it real quick. You can clearly look at Dave. I have no idea how old he is. Probably a quick Google search will probably render some data out like that for me. But the thing is that he's a boomer, all right? Probably on, you know, the sunset side of the 60s. Maybe he might be in the 70s or something like that. So back in those days, right, when trailers first started to come out, or become a thing in the United States back in like, you know, the 50s, 60s and stuff like that, they literally were a trailer. You had basically a metal shell with like 2 wheels on the back of it, maybe 4 depending on the size of it or something, and you literally pulled that thing with your truck. Now you can't do that. That's why they're called mobile homes. There are different standards, things like that go into them. So they're a lot different now. And when he's talking about like market demand and everything, right? There are people in my group who, when they post their mobile home, within the hour, their phone is blowing up. There's a market for this stuff out here. And the reason why I saw fit to point out his generation is because of this. Boomers had it good. Boomers had it good. You could damn near go to college for the price of a cheeseburger, right? I mean, you had people back then making like $1,000 a year, but college tuition was like $3,500 Okay, so you're coming away with, you know, possibly a bachelor's degree or a doctorate or something like that for what you couldn't get a cheap car for nowadays. That's a big difference because millennials and zillennials, right? Generation Z that's coming up now, okay? You got so many people out here who would like to have something of their own, but the money and stuff isn't there. And even right now in government, they're sitting over here talking about all this $15 minimum wage stuff. That's because there are people out there who are hurting and they really cannot afford to go to college and get in debt for $250,000 to try to live the American dream. They just need a leg up, and that is where flipping mobile homes comes into play.
It's not putting anybody down. I'm not mad. I'm not trying to I'm not saying mobile homes are a ripoff, but the traditional mobile home on wheels, the little tiny wheels, and they roll it up and they put a little, picket fence around the edge of it, that sucker's dropping like a rock. And some of you are buying $70,000, $80,000 versions of those in double wide or even more. And then, 15 years later, is that thing worth 200? No, it's worth 10.
Boom. Because mobile homes do decline in value and stuff over time, you can get them for stupid cheap. And houses typically won't do that unless the entire neighborhood or something goes down or the place gets run down. So that's what makes it a no-brainer, right? You can buy these things for damn near the price of a used car, and you can sell it for the price of a cheap actual home. And that's just the reality of it. I wanted to take a quick second to read one of the top comments on this particular video. And believe you me, I'm going to put a link for it down in the description. I want to take a quick second to read this one comment, right? And this woman named Jane says, I live in a mobile home. I follow Dave's advice on most things. But when I divorced, I needed a place to live. I prefer this to an apartment. Simple as that, folks. Simple as that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and close this video out. I'm also going to put some links down there so you can come and vibe with me in my Facebook group. Also come and check out my website. There have been some people also asking me questions if I do provide online and also one-on-one coaching, and the answer is yes. I've been seeing that in the comments. So yeah, like this video, comment, subscribe, share, and also leave your questions, comments, and concerns down there in the comments below. And without further ado, I will see you in the next video. Peace.